So what type of person are you? You see a rocket taking off from Cape Canaveral, or I don't know, wherever they do these things, Florida, whatever. And as it explodes into the sky and it shoots up towards space, and there's people who are going to go to the moon, or maybe there's a like a, I don't know, robot-y thing that like some sort of thing is going to go to Mars or whatever. And you're watching this and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, look at that. We go into space. We actually get off this planet that no other creature that's ever lived on this planet has ever done or been able to do. And we're going to go see amazing things. And another person is going to say, oh my gosh, wow, look at all that pollution. Look at all that fuel that's being burnt and all that stuff that's going into the atmosphere. And that's going to contribute to climate change. Okay, let's assume both those people are completely correct. That it's not a con job. We don't live on a flat planet where they fake all the space travel. So we're actually really going to the moon or Mars or whatever. And let's assume that climate change is as affected by human behavior as a real thing, and that person's concern is a legitimate concern. In other words, they're both right. But one of them lives on this planet, one of 7-8 billion people. And the life they're creating for themselves, the experience, the worldview, the moment, the everything they've created for themselves is created by their capacity for amazement, their ability to be in awe and to see potential and to feel excitement. And the other person is going to have a reality that is formed by their ability to see flaws, recognize negative consequences, identify the unintended consequences, recognize that not everything we do is free and clear of potential negative outcome. They're both right. The world is as it is. They're both just single human beings, and they don't have the power to affect, change, alter what's happening. And they're going to spend their next 25 minutes or 2 hours thinking about this event that occurred on the other side of the planet that they're aware of because of modern technology that, we all walk around with their phones. No matter what our opinions are, we're still tapping into the same technology and using it in order to gain information and form those opinions. One person has an endorphin rush, has their adrenal system responding in a certain way, is going to smile. Their face is going to be so much more relaxed because it takes less muscles to smile than it does to frown. Their demeanor and their effect on the people around them, both just by the energy as they walk by, the look on their face, their body language, and also the words that come out of their mouth. Hey, did you see that? Isn't that awesome? Or, hey, did you see that? I cannot believe this is so terrible. Like, we're going to hell in a handbasket. This whole planet is effed, right? So, and the people around who hear that, that's a ripple effect. When I was a kid, there was this great book, and it was about warm fuzzies and cold pricklies, right? So you're either going to give someone a warm fuzzy or you're going to give them a cold prickly, and you're either going to improve their day or worsen their day. That won't change the world. It's not going to change whether the rocket takes off or not. It's not going to change whether our climate changes and shifts in a way that we're not happy about. It is a completely not connected to anything effect that we can have that simply will either lift people up or bring them down. And the funny thing is, you could actually do both of these things in a lifting up manner. You could be like, you know what? That is awesome. I'm also excited that Elon Musk and SpaceX has come up with a way to be reusing rockets, so we're not just dumping them into the ocean and losing them as scrap metal or something. And so less resources are being spent on space travel now than previously imagined, and that's like a really great, ingenious way for humans to try to conserve resources. And so you get to express your concern in a productive manner about the environment and talk about it without being a Debbie Downer, I think is the term. And the thing about it, though, is that misery loves company. So for me, as a person who's not miserable and who's positive, I love the company of positive people, and if I see someone who's sad, my instinct is to want to lift them up, put some beautiful warm air under their wings, and to give them some encouragement to feel better. But people who are really negative, they're resentful, they're bitter, they're angry, and they don't like how they feel. So they either want to be able to say it's worth feeling this way because it makes me the morally better person. And the only way you can say that is if you've decided that the people who don't feel like total crap are morally repugnant. They're morally bad. And so how do you make the happy person out to be bad? And this is where you get everything from white shame, white guilt, to, happiness shame and happiness guilt. Literally, you're happy. Well, that's only because you blind yourself to the horrors of the world. You only look at the good side. You pretend everything's great and wonderful. You're basically, you are sinning. You are a bad person. You should be ashamed of yourself because your happiness is the reflection of your immorality and your lack of ethics. Because if you were moral and ethical, you would be looking at all the bad things and you would be feeling like I do, which is miserable, angry, hopeless, despair, fury, outrage, despondent. And if you don't feel those things, then, well, I feel them and I have to be a good person. So therefore, if you don't feel this way, you're a bad person. And wow. All I can say is I disagree. And I think this is really important for people to get very clear about. We absolutely can love the person who is caught in, what do they used to call it? A martyrdom type of mindset. That was like my generation when we would talk about our parents' generation. Some of them were like, oh, I'm just going to sacrifice for the family. And they became like martyrs. And they would, not like the I killed myself from my religion martyr, but it's more like, no, honey, I don't want to go on vacation this year. I'm going to go ahead and stay home and take care of the grandkids. And then that person would be doing that, but they weren't happy. They didn't really want to. They were doing it once again to virtue signal, to try to prove that they were a good person. And they were doing it sometimes to try to prove they were better than someone else who was going to go have a good time or go relax or not clean the house and instead go for a walk or go listen to music somewhere. And so they're like, well, you do you because you're immoral and you're whatever. I'm going to be the self-sacrificing martyr here and I'm going to do what needs to get done. And they were bitter and unhappy and angry and resentful while doing that. So again and again and again, from one generation to the next, we see that there are people who feel really bad on the inside, and then they say there must be a legitimate reason for why I feel this way, and it has to be something that makes me a good person. And if you feel really bad, well, you want to have there be a legitimate reason. So you look out and go, I feel horrible. Why do I feel horrible? Oh, I feel horrible because I'm aware of what's happening over there. And so that thing happening over there is why I feel horrible. But I can be aware of the same thing and I don't feel horrible, because as I feel fully and recognize fully the horror of what's happening, I make the decision to not let that destroy me and drag me down. I see a person who's drowning. I'm going to figure out, how can I help them without them drowning me too? What do I need? I'm going to look around and say, what do I need to bring with me so I can jump in the water, swim over, and have a floaty that keeps us both up? And another person is like, oh, that person's drowning. I'm going to go like choke on water with them. I'm going to go like partially drown with them. They don't really want to die, but they're like, I'm going to go suffer with them. So we have the misery loves company, where you want to like bring people down. And then there's the misery that loves company, where you're already down and you're like, I want to find other people that are unhappy. So I feel like I've found my tribe and people who understand me. All of these things make sense. They're all legitimate. I get it. They're very much in line with human nature. The thing is that the same humans can do the same things in line with human nature, and one ends up having physiological, hormonal, emotional health, joy, and happiness, and the other one ends up being broken, stressed out, hurting the people around them, angry, all these things that are unhealthy. And so in a way, you have to choose. And all of us choose. All of us, we choose. And neither choice actually makes you morally better than the other person. And both choices can reflect a person who is deeply aware of what's happening in the world, who deeply cares, who really gives a damn. And interestingly enough, the ones who are most angry and despondent and hopeless and depressed and furious and all that, oftentimes all their energy goes towards that fury, and they're not effective. They don't actually collaborate with people. They don't pick a goal. They don't choose a cause. They're just stuck in their anger. And the other people, the ones who you see out there who are leading organizations, who are being interviewed on podcasts, who are creating NGOs or nonprofits, the ones who are out there writing the books and really pushing to improve these various situations where humans hurt other humans and life is hard, the people who are most effective are the ones, usually, who can remain engaged and efficient with their time and active in a productive manner, pursuing a goal in a methodical way that attracts other people, that raises awareness, and that creates more and more positive results because they haven't lost themselves to despair. My thoughts for the day. Have a great summer.